Hey Ukramedia family, Sergey Praknevsky here, and starting today, I'm going to post a new video every single day between Monday and Friday. And those daily posts are going to be primarily focused heavily on expressions. And by that I mean the new changes that have come to the expressions engine in After Effects. So we'll talk about that every single day. Each day we're going to focus on one new feature or one new change, one new method, operator, whatever that is. We're going to talk about that every single day. So be sure to tune in, be sure to subscribe to this channel. And really the reason why I'm doing that, because a lot of you have been watching either some of my tutorials or if you're enrolled into our course, some things have changed because obviously we have been updated to the new latest and greatest JavaScript engine, which is super awesome. Before that we had ExtendScript engine, which was like 20 years old. So the new one is exciting because it has a lot of methods, a lot of new operators and statements and new things in general. Well, it's exciting and it's easier to use than you think. However, it did cause some issues between the two engines. So some things we have to learn, some things we have to unlearn, and I want to tackle that every single day. So tune in. And by the way, if you are taking our course, if you are doing some of the tutorials and you're having some issues, in the meantime, all you got to do is just switch back to the old engine. You can do that by either going to File and then Project Settings, or you can just click here and then go all the way to the Expressions tab here, and you can switch between either Legacy ExtendScript, which is the old expression engine, or you can just click obviously on this JavaScript. But if you want to take, if you're taking the course and if you're experiencing some issues, which you shouldn't be experiencing that many issues because it's only the three things that I can think of that can cause you some issues. It would be with if-else statements and value property, and also the last one is the reflection objects. Those are no longer supported, which we'll talk about that more in detail in days ahead. But in the meantime, just switch back to Legacy and you'll have no issues. Let's talk about text editor and user interface improvements. And altogether, we have 4 subtle changes, yet I find them very useful. And the first one is the new Monospace font. So when you create a new expression, right off the bat, you can see we have a new font. And the name of this font is Source Code Pro. It's very easy to see and definitely very easy to work with. The second change has to do with the expressions error banner that you would normally see in your composition panel here. So let me create a new expression. Let me totally mess it up like this. As you can see, when you mess up, After Effects will let you know that through this icon in here. You can click on it and you can read more about the mistake, where you messed up, how to fix it and all that stuff. But then you also have this banner right here, this expressions error banner that normally pops up in your composition panel. And this banner is very useful for many reasons. You can scroll through all of your expression errors if you have a bunch of them, and you can kind of shuffle through it and you can fix it. You can obviously uncollapse and read about it. You can collapse it. But even in here, I see some new changes. Things like the text and the icons are a lot darker, so it's easier to see. But we also have this new icon in here, this X icon. And it does exactly what you think it does. So when you click on it, it completely gets rid of your banner in your composition panel. And when I say gets rid of it, not just for this error right here, but for the future ones as well. However, it doesn't get rid of your error, just gets rid of it in here in your panel. And we still see it in here in our property, right? You can still click on it, you can still read about it. But when you create a new error, if you mess up again, for example, like here, right? I'm gonna make another mistake. You can see it doesn't show up anymore. Now that can be a blessing or a curse. I personally think it's a curse because I do like to see mistakes as they happen. So that was something I enjoyed. So I'm not gonna be getting rid of that. However, you still see it in your property in here. You can still obviously click on it, read about it, but I do miss having it in here. So if you clicked on that X button, you completely got rid of it. And if you wanna get it back, you have to physically tell After Effects to bring it back. And to do that, you need to go to Preferences. You can either use the keyboard shortcut, or you can go to Edit, and then Preferences, and then General, or you can use this keyboard shortcut. So when you click on it, inside there, you'll see this checkbox, Show Warning Banner. Make sure you have that checked, and when you press OK, your banner will be back. The third change is Auto-Resize Editor. So let me show you what that is. So in the past, if you had a very long expression, right, like this one, if you were to click on Editor right here, it would automatically like resize it up to a certain length, to like here or something like that. And then if you wanted to see the whole thing, you had to physically go to the edge and click and drag and kind of size it to the size of your code. Well, now it does it automatically. All you got to do is just click on this editor. And as you can see, it automatically resizes your editor to the size of your code. The fourth one and the last one is definitely one of my favorite. It's definitely one of the most useful ones out of those four because it gives you the ability to enable or disable expressions on multiple layers. So let me show you what I'm talking about. For this example, I have a lot of my Ukramedia logos in here. And if I preview this, you can see that they are wiggling on the rotation property because I have wiggle expression applied to the rotation property. That's why the value of it is red, right? So all of them have an expression applied to the rotation property. So what if I wanted to disable all of those expressions? How can I do it quickly? Now, one way to do it would be to select all of the layers and then press E twice. Then you can see all of the properties that were affected by your expressions. And then you can disable them like this. Well, that does work, but it's one too many steps. Let me show you a much quicker way of doing this. So the same thing, all you gotta do, select all of your layers, and you can do it three different ways. You can either right click here and then go to switches, or you can go right click here, switches, or you can go to layer and then go to switches. So I'm gonna go, again, highlight all your layers. You don't have to select all of them, you can select some of them, but I'm gonna select all of them and then right click and go to switches. And then right here we see enable expressions and then disable expressions. So I do have my expressions enabled, so I'm gonna disable them. And as you can see, they're all disabled. If I preview this, none of them are wiggling. So if I wanted to enable all of them, all I gotta do, just make sure you go here, right click, and then go to switches, and then enable expressions. When you do that, you can see all of them are enabled. So if you preview this, you can see they're working quite well. All right, well, this is the end of this video. I hope you found it useful. Again, make sure you tune in every single day between Monday and Friday for more expressions knowledge. And if you want to learn more about expressions, you should definitely consider taking our online course at ukramedia.com/expressions. But in the meantime, my name is Sergey Praknevsky, and this is Ukramedia.com.